In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make some indie pop music, kind of more on the pop side of like a bedroom pop beat. And to do that, I remade one of my favorite songs right now called Hot Fever Dream by Astrid S. And I'll break down my remake of the song's elements, the sounds of those elements, the mixing, the structure and arrangement, all that jazz. So hopefully by the end of this tutorial, you can make a song in a similar indie pop style to this one. Set the tempo around 120 BPM, start off by making some synthy chords. Make sure to keep the progression very simple and very short as well, so you could just keep repeating it over and over again. I used 3 vital presets to accomplish the sound of that. I used this one from MHA's Vital Sound Bank Volume 2, this one from MHA's Vital Sound Bank Volume 3, and this one from MHA's Vital Sound Bank Volume 3 as well. So this one's just like a very calm pad type chord. This one's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like the muffled, like crispy type synth like that. I don't know. This one's like a flanger, wavy type synth that really helps to fill up the background. For mixing, I put this EQ on here, which is pretty standard. It's just taking out a lot of the lows so that when we make basses later, the lows of these chords don't counteract with it and get muddy. And then boost a tiny bit of the second to highest frequency over here just to elevate the higher frequencies a little bit, and so you could hear that crispiness a little more in the final mix. And all of the elements except the drums are going to have this sort of sidechain on here just so that the drums can impact more without really like elevating too much of the amplification for them. Next, take those chords and chop them up into a guitar. The rhythm is completely up to you, but just go for like a simple like da 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 da, something like that. I use 2 flex guitars to accomplish the sound. I use this one, and then I use this one down here as well. You can probably hear that these sounds are pretty harsh on the guitar side, but that doesn't really matter because the intensity of these sounds really drown out in the mix, so just get a very guitar sounding sound for this. And the only mixing that I put on here is the same sidechain from earlier. Next, take the bass notes from the chords and put them into a bass. By bass notes, I just mean like the root notes of the chords, which are typically like, if this is a G chord, then the bass note would be a G, and then this is like an A chord, then the bass note would be an A. So layer those into a couple bass presets and make it sound something like this. Kind of getting an electronic feel on the higher frequencies, but also getting a more acoustic electric sound on the lower frequencies. I used 4 presets to accomplish the sound. I used this Vital preset from MHA's Volume 3 Vital Sound Bank, this one from the same sound bank, this Flex bass guitar preset over here, and then this Flex bass guitar preset over here. So these 2 down here are the more acoustic electric sounding basses to focus on the low ends. This one's just an 808 to focus on the low end support. And then this one over here is where you really hear the bass. It's like a gritty top layer for the bass. For mixing, all I did is I put a Fruity Blood overdrive on here with the color turned all the way up. The color helps to enhance some of the crispiness in the higher frequencies, while the overall Fruity Blood overdrive is to really amplify and elevate the bass sound overall. And then a similar sidechain from earlier, just toned down on the mix a little bit so that you can hear the bass punch and impact a little bit more than like the chords and stuff. Now for the drums. I have a kick. Make sure it's a very wide and thumpy kick. I have a snare. Make sure it's a very short acoustic snare. Then I also have a acoustic reverb snare to elevate the snare in the background. I have a little hi-hat loop in the background. Make sure to go for like a stereo wide acoustic sounding hat. And then I just have a ride loop in the background that helps to keep up with the tempo and add to the acousticness of the drums. I have a crash. So all together, the drums sound like this. And make sure that the kick and the snares are in a pattern that just can be repeated over and over and over and over and over again. Very simple. Don't do anything like to add some variance or something, because then they'll mess up the mix. And all of the drums just have a Fruity Blood overdrive on here with the main filter turned up a little less than halfway, just because these sounds in particular had harsh high ends, so I just toned them down a little bit with the filter. But overall, the Fruity Blood overdrive helps to elevate and amplify these drums, making them blast more into your ears. Now for some effects. I have 2 drones in the background and a strumming guitar that's not really the same chords, but some mixing can help with that. And by mixing, I just mean like an EQ, just taking out a ton of the low frequencies and boosting a lot of the highs so that you only hear the highs and none of the lows. And then a filter just to tone down the sound, so it's kind of in the background more. And all of the effects have this sidechain on it as well, same as the bass. Now for the structure and arrangement of this track. So I broke it up into like a verse or pre-chorus, and then I have the chorus over here. So for the verse or pre-chorus, it's just a very stripped down version of everything else. All you have is the bass, one of the drones, and then a simplified version of the drum loop, which is just the kick, the first snare, the hi-hat, and the second snare, and then a little instrumental break with a small sweep. Leads up to the chorus over here, which is just everything all together. You have the guitar, you have the chords, you have the bass, the two drones together, the guitar strum, and then the full drum loop as well. Just as a visual, this is what the final structure of the track looks like. And after all that, here's the final result.
Will break the speed.